tutasonga kwa mapinduzi, tukomboe Kenya na wananchi wote, katiba yetu tupe uwezo, tukomboe Kenya na wananchi wote, social justice tupe uwezo, tukomboe Kenya na wananchi wote, kana mkamer tutakwenda kwa siasa nzuri, kwa siasa nzuri.
Talk about kutoa nyoka pangoni, kwa sababu nakwambia ukiendelea tu hivyo tutatoa nyoka pangoni. The snakes in this particular country tunaweza kuwatoa nini.
I hope it's the snakes in cabinet.
Ndio nasema hawa manyoka tunazitoa huko pangoni, iko mashimo kwenye wako. If you continue like that we are going to do this, and that's why I was surprised because nimesikia like social justice tupe nguvu. I actually had that particular, I have heard that particular song, but to be really honest I didn't know you're the one who had sung that particular song. And that song is so amazing, it's so liberating. Yani ile ngoma unasikia and then you're like I'm going to rise up for what I believe in. Tuambie jina yako ni nani?
Mimi naitwa Sefu Sani, mimi ni msanii, mimi ni mwanaharakati na pia mimi ni mwanasiasa.
Na wewe ni mwanasiasa. Tukisema kwamba wewe ni mwanasiasa ni kwa maana kwamba unapiga siasa, si ndio? Na umesimama kwenye kiti chochote katika hii nchi. Which position have you been able to?
Nilisimama hapo awali mwaka wa 2000
changanya
mwaka wa 2022 na nilisimama kiti cha MCA Woodley Kenyatta Golf Course Award. Nilipata kuwa watatu, lakini hata swala hapa si kusimamia kiti cha kisiasa. Swala ni siasa ambayo tunapigania. Swala ni jamii ambayo tunapigania. Tunapigania nini? Tunapigania ujamaa katika jamii yetu. Tunapigania usawa katika jamii. Tunapigania masuala ya uchumi jamii, yani social economic rights. Ndio maana nikiimba nasema kwamba social justice tupe uwezo. Social justice ni nini? Si eti ni watu ambao wameungana. Social justice ni vitu ambazo tunataka kutoka kwa jamii yetu. Vitu kama nini? Kama hospitali bora. Vitu kama nini? Kama elimu ya msingi na elimu ya juu. Vitu kama nini? Housing ambayo ni bora kwa watu. Vitu kama nini? Tax ambayo tunaona hii inaelekea wapi. Vitu kama nini? Barabara nzuri kwa watu. Kwa hiyo tukiongea kuhusu mambo ya social justice, hii ndio masuala ambayo tunaongelea kuhusu, yani haki za kijamii. Na hizi haki zinapatikana wapi? Zinapatikana kutokana na uongozi wetu, from our governance, and that is why we are fighting for good governance, for people who have merited to take seats as cabinet secretaries, and for people who are ruling this country to be able to do so in a manner that as citizens we do not have to go to a hospital to pay for medical services or for school or for better roads.
And you have been so vocal that you have also been very participative and in the center of the center assemblies that have been happening in this particular country. When you go to these particular citizens assemblies and you're part of them, and you hear these people being vocal and be able to talk about their issues, what does it tell to you? What does rings in your mind every time people come talk about their abductions? You see Mama Rex today, she was so much passionately talking about the death of her son, even asking where the bullet went, where the hospitals. You can see how incompetent the hospital is in a tupa even evidence. How does this make you feel when you're in the center of these particular assemblies and as an activist?
I am very happy that we have this space for people to be able to come out, and these are the spaces we also have in the seats that we have in the country. For example, the seats of parliament. Article 1 of our constitution says all sovereign power belongs to the people, and the people shall practice this either directly or indirectly. Indirectly, the people practice this through their representatives in parliament and in different seats, and these representatives really are supposed to give the voice of the people. So now that the voice of the people is not being heard, they are practicing it directly. As you can see here at the Citizens Assembly, they are coming to speak out about what is happening to them. So of course I'm very happy because this is an exercise of people power and the voice of the people and of Article 1 of our constitution. So of course it is so sad to hear about not just Rex but all these other people who have lost their lives, because that is not how it's supposed to be. And this is what we are fighting for, good governance, that people people have the right to picket and to demonstrate, and there should not be excessive use of force by the police. There should not be use of dangerous chemicals, that cannot be used anywhere else in the world. Some of the tear gas that we have today were abolished in World War II. That was in 1945. So how is it that we are using them 2024, more than 60 years later, on people on the streets? So the water cannons that are very itchy, those are not ways of dispersing peaceful protesters. And I think we should have our leaders listen to us more. We should have more people coming out to say how they want the leadership to be done. But also, if our leaders don't listen, it is up to us to then recall them and get people who will listen.
You're talking about being listened, and you say that the sovereign power belongs to the people, yeah? And the people rejected some cabinet secretaries. They rejected some officials in the government who represent them, because you say that people shall exercise their power through representative or through their directory, isn't it? Yeah. How does it make you feel that people have complained about some officials in the government, and we can see the president recycling some of those particular officials or reinstating them in its cabinet, and you're holding a citizen assembly where people want to be listened, and these particular issues are being articulated?
The only thing I can say is reject. We have already rejected these people, and it's because, one, we have not seen the work that they have done. 2.5 years, and up until where we are. These people, of course, had been dismissed, and people were unhappy with them. Why? Because we have seen, for example, in the Ministry of Transport, our airport was leaking and nothing could be done about it. Large amounts of money being used, citizens are being taxed, and we cannot see where this tax is going. And this cabinet secretary is coming to flaunt to us, how much money they have or how much assets they have that are so expensive. So of course we are rejecting such, and we say we want people who have integrity and merit to be chosen. But also we want young people also to be considered. We want to see a different crop of people that are not friends of the president, that are not associated, that are not rewards of loyalty. Yes, we want to see a country and a system that works.
Yeah, as we come to a conclusion, I would like to ask, some of these cabinet secretaries were nominated, and we saw people in the communities, small communities, Mombasa, in particular areas where these cabinet secretaries are from, celebrating, and some even calling for some people to be rescheduled into the cabinet secretaries. And those, let me call them above millennials, Gen Ys and whatever, they're asking the Jay-Z, until when are you going to complain? Until when is this gold revolution going to continue? You are part of this revolution. Have you been coming out for the demonstration?
Of course, I've been coming out. Nimetupiwa maji, nimekimbia. I'm just lucky that of course I was not shot. I was not beaten, but nimemwagiwa maji. I've gone through all those battles. I've had to run away. I've had to help my friends who they themselves were being sought by the police. What I have to say is this. Gen Zs, and let me ask, and I myself coming to the streets, it is not about rewards. In our colonial times, there was a use of divide and conquer, and the language that these people used was ethnicity. Mimi ni Mkikuyu, mimi ni Mtaita, mimi ni Mchonyi, mimi ni Msamia, mimi ni Mluya, mimi ni Mhoyu. It was used to divide us, and that is the same thing that is being used now. There's a song we say, ni wale ale, mambo ni ale ale, ni ale ale, mambo ya ukoloni, mambo ni ale ale, watu wetu wa. Mambo ni yale yale. We are still using the same old tricks. This is what I want to say. We want a system that works. For example, if someone is driving a train and the train is supposed to go from here to Mombasa, you have different drivers stopping at different places. The only thing you need is for the driver to show you a driving license and for that driver to be able to drive. You don't have to look at how fat is the driver, is it a male or a female driver, what language is the driver. What you need is a system that works. So if the driver comes in, a drive from here to Voi, ashuke achukue mwingine a drive from here, from Voi to Tanzania, ashike mwingine a drive, the train will go, sindio? The passengers will get to where they need to go, sio? So that is what we need, a system that works. It should not matter where this person has come from. Kama wewe ni Mtaita, it should not matter when you're in the Ministry of Health, because if you're supposed to deliver 20 hospitals in each county in this country, you should be able to deliver that. And me receiving the service, when I go to the hospital, hawezi sema leo tumetibu Wakikuyu 5, tumetibu Wajaluo 6. You're serving Kenyans. So it is not about where people are coming from. And of course, when I say this, I'm not taking away from inclusivity. It is about integrity and merit. Is the job done? Is the person doing the job fit to do the job? Yes, those are the things we should be looking at, and not at ethnicity.
Yeah, as you come to a conclusion, you're talking about now, it's about merit, isn't it? Yeah. So you saw the president come in with some people who are said to be from Azimio coalition, yeah, and this movement was led by the Gen Z, and we have seen the opposition leader saying that he didn't have any collaboration or any talks with Ruto in terms of kugawana serikali. Yeah. Do you think that these people deserve to be on that cabinet, and what do you think about these particular nominations?
What I will say is this: the reason for the quote-unquote inclusivity of Azimio is to represent certain regions. It is not because these people are qualified to do the jobs. It is because these people are representing certain ethnicities that have never been or have stayed long without being in certain cabinet posts. This is what I want to say. If we are choosing people in cabinet and they are merited, if I know, for example, that you have studied finance, you have practiced finance, you have been the governor of the Central Bank of Kenya today, and I appoint you as Minister of Finance, that works. It is merit and it is integrity. We should look at merit and we should look at integrity. What has happened now is that people have been rewarded because of their ethnicity and to quell down people from certain tribes, which is wrong.
Final message to the Gen Z as we conclude. What is your message?
My final message to the Gen Zs: let us be indefatigable. Tusichoke. It is better to die on our feet than to live on our knees.
Here we end with something called your call for action. What's now your call for action, finally?
My call for action is for all of us to keep coming out, and not just the Gen Zs. I want the doctors, I want the lawyers, I want the engineers, I want our mothers, our fathers, our grandmothers. Let us all go to the streets and say enough is enough. We want a better Kenya, and we will not go back.
Thank you so much for talking to us.